Hey everybody, welcome back to Life Lessons with Chuck Musselwhite. Today is lesson number 3, and we're going to do something a little different than we did the first couple times. What I'm trying to do is I kind of rotate, addressing needs or issues that guys need to kind of work through and work on. But then also the next one, so we will have one week, with the issue one, the first part of the week probably on Tuesday, and then on Thursday what I do is I hope to release something that will help improve you, something that if you can do with little to no cost, that will set you apart, get you ahead, improve your life, and if you just focus on these things, that you'll see God do some pretty amazing things in your life. And so I'm all about helping young men grow into what God has them, grow into the purpose, and grow into the gifts that He's blessed them with. And so part of that is helping you guys grow into areas that probably haven't been taught. And you've probably been criticized, especially on the two things I'm going to talk about today. And the two issues, or the two traits that I think that you can prove on. The first one I want to talk about is body language and being present. What's great about these two things is that it didn't cost you a dime. You don't have to go any kind of class. And if you improve these, you will literally set yourself apart from almost every man from the age of 2 years old all the way up to 100 years old. Because the fact is that guys struggle with being present where they're at, and also with their body language, because they, like me, you see what I'm feeling or thinking on my face probably before that feeling even comes out of my brain. And so, and listen, when I share these things, I'm often preaching to the choir, which means I'm preaching to myself. These are areas that I need to work in. I have a hard time with body language. I have a hard time with being present. I am distracted. I'm just like the squirrel. I see something, I'm like, ooh, and my brain's just all kind of flying all over the place all the time. And I really need to focus on, at the age of 55, focus on being present and improving my body language. And so I got a list from this lady, Molly Fletcher, I believe is her last name. She was one of the first female sports agents. She was just dynamic. She actually wrote a book that I would recommend to you called Dynamic Drive, and I think that's the title. I don't have it here in front of me. So, but anyways, it's a great book, especially the one on motivation, chapter 5, and I just want, or on discipline. That's right. It's on discipline. Sorry. And she writes it on discipline. That chapter 5 is worth the whole book right there. And the audio book is awesome. I would encourage the audiobook. I'll put the links down in the show notes down there so you guys can chase after those. I would highly recommend them. But she's just a motivated woman who has gone after what she wants. She had a plan to do it, and she figured out a way to do it. And so, but she had this list on her podcast a couple of weeks ago, the 10 things you can do that don't cost any money that will improve your life. And so I'm going to take a couple of them over the next couple of weeks and kind of go over them with you guys, because I think they're so important. So the first thing I want to talk about is body language. And body language is something that it just expresses who we are. But I think guys, and probably appropriately so, have been criticized for their body language, especially teenage boys. Because the fact is that it seems to be the thing with teenage boys to dress and to act and to react in a way that seems like you care as little as possible. And that's a real turnoff to adults. It's a real turnoff to employees. It may impress your friends because that's the way they act with you too. But the slunken shoulders, the sloppy clothes, the kind of like the face of like I don't want to be here with you, or I don't care whatsoever. It may fly in high school, but it doesn't fly anywhere else. And the sad thing is that as I go around and I patronize businesses, I see men in their 20s who have exacerbated this even more. To the fact is not only do they act like they don't care, but they're annoyed, and that's a quick way to get out of your boss's good graces. You may not care about that, but eventually you will, especially when you want to get paid more. You may not care about customers that you deal with, but the fact is that what you'll realize eventually is that you won't get the opportunities. Or you won't get the props that you think you deserve because you're that good of worker, or because somebody else got props and they just had a better attitude. And honestly, body language is a choice. You have to, put your shoulders back. You have to put your head up. You have to maybe put a smile on your face, or actually put some life into your eyes to act like you care. And listen, being cool around your buddies, that doesn't get you anywhere. That doesn't put food on the table. It definitely doesn't attract you to women, and it definitely doesn't get you ahead in life. And listen, if you don't care about any of that, that's fine. This podcast is probably not for you. But if you're looking to get ahead, you're looking for somebody to kind of mentor you and tell you what can get you ahead in life. I'm going to tell you, as somebody who's worked with millennials for over 25 years, and somebody who has worked with teenage boys and young men, and worked with volunteers for over 30 years, I'm going to tell you right now, body language gets you a long ways. The person who's positive, the person who's energetic, the person who's ready to get after it, they are preferred over people that aren't. And so you have to make a choice. And listen, I'm not here to criticize you. If you struggle with it like I do, if you tell me something that annoys me, you're going to see it on my face. After all these years, I have just trained myself, and I have to get a lot better. And I have to mentally put the brakes on in my brain between either my mouth or my eyes, because the fact is I would be a horrible poker player. In fact, I think most poker players are really bad. I see these poker tournaments, and these guys are, they're competing for millions of dollars, and they're sitting there they have headphones on, and they have a hat pulled down, and they have sunglasses and all this kind of stuff, and it's also people can't see their body language. The best poker players have a poker face. And not saying that you need to walk around with a poker face. You need to be able to show the right emotions at the right time, and to prevent the wrong emotions and the wrong reactions at the wrong time. And so if you really, really want to improve your life, if you want to get ahead, you want to stand out from job applicants, you want to stand out from employees at your work or even at your school, I'm going to tell you right now, body language is huge. Body language is absolutely huge. And so you got to work on that. And so a couple tips I'd give you. First of all, put your head up, put your shoulders back, look at your face in the mirror. Okay, and how you groom yourself and how you dress yourself and all kind of stuff. That's all presentation. That's all body language. And if you're looking to impress somebody, I want to encourage you, work on those areas. Smile every once in a while. Act like you care, even if you don't. If you need to act like you care when you're around people, and be positive. And I'm not talking to be like like the positivity person where nothing's ever wrong. You find the good in everything. No. I'm just talking about sometimes, that negative attitude, that vibe that comes off you is a real buzzkill, and it can really kill the mood. And you changing that can absolutely radically change your whole, not only perspective, but your whole outcome. And so work on your body language. The second thing that I'm going to challenge you to work on is being present. Phones, man, they are the enemy of being present. I got to admit, I like watching YouTube videos where people are on their phone and they're walking with their head down, and they have no idea where they're walking. They have no idea what they're doing, and they walk out into traffic, or they walk into a pole, or they walk into some fountain at a business. I mean, there's just millions of those reels or videos all over YouTube and Instagram, and they're comical because two reasons. One, you see something funny happen, but two, we can relate to it because I don't know how many times I've been driving behind a car that's going 10 miles under the speed limit because somebody's checking out their Instagram as they're driving, and it's you've got to be present. And most importantly, you need to be present in personal relationships. If you're having dinner with somebody, put the phone away. If you're talking with somebody, don't be distracted and keep pulling it out, but also too, even outside of your phone, when people are engaging you, engage them back, look them in the eye. Be present. If you're talking to a person, make them the only person in your world at that moment. Okay, don't be thinking about other things. Don't be wanting to be somewhere else. But just be with that person, because I can tell you right now, it'll make even the interaction go a whole lot quicker. And so eye contact is especially key. And as I just recently talked, body language will help a long way too. But the fact is that we live in a distracted society. I mean, that's just being redundant, everybody knows that. But I just want to challenge you that as you are dealing with people, as you come across people, stop everything and focus on those people. I've heard interviews from very successful people, and they're like, how do you get so much done? And they're like, I focus on the task that I'm doing, and if I'm with somebody, I focus only on them. I don't focus on anything else. Because multitasking is a myth. Okay, I try to do it all the time. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm watching a football game. I'm on social media trying to follow all the sports reporters, what they're saying, and my wife's sitting next to me. My kids are walking around, and they're having these conversations, and I'm completely checked out. And then the kids walk out of the room, and I'll ask my wife a question about what they just talked about, and it totally didn't even register with me. And so the fact is we can't multitask. Be with the people that you're with. Okay, and when you're with them, completely focus on them, and when you're not, then focus on what you're doing. But make sure that you are present, because people are tired of talking to the top of somebody's head, because their face is down on the phone. My wife, she went grocery shopping the other day, and the checker, she had an AirPod in her ear, and she was engaged in this conversation, talking to this person while she was checking out, and totally unaware what was happening. And if somebody actually asked her a question, a customer did, she got bothered. She got annoyed. My wife went and complained to the manager, and the manager she didn't even know how to handle it, because she was so freaked out that she'd have to confront this employee, and it's like, come on. Let's be engaged here. And listen, if you don't want to be engaged, you want to do that, that's totally your prerogative. But I'm just telling you right now, body language and being present will make you stand out and get you ahead faster than almost anything else that you can do today, because you will be so different than everybody else. Okay, and trust me, learn it while you're young, and so that you can train yourself, and what's on your phone is not pressing. It may be more entertaining than what you're doing right now, but it's not more important than the people that you are with. And just to kind of back this up with some facts, study after study is coming out that people are more isolated, people are more lonely than they've ever been. Well, why? Why are they away? Because first of all, they get away with their phone or their gadgets or their computer, and they don't let anybody in. But also too, when they are with people, they aren't with them. They are with whatever they're doing and their gadget or whatever. And I'm going to tell you right now that causes loneliness, because the fact is, pretty soon those people know, well, if I don't have their attention, they're going to withdraw. And it's a waste of their time to spend time with you. And so, listen, you can totally improve your quality of your life. You can improve the quality of your relationships by being present. Okay? Don't be that couple that is sitting at the restaurant table and you guys are both on your phones. And even worse, you guys are sending reels to each other back and forth at the table as opposed to talking, That's just, I know that's kind of the norm, but like I said, we're trying to do something different. We're trying to step out. And so, listen, be present where you're at. Have the body language that is positive, is energetic, and looks like you care. And if you implement those two things, it will make you stand out, and it will get you ahead farther than anything else. So God bless you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next week.